I just wanted to let you know how we get this started. I have a regular video cassette recorder or player, and this is an old VHS tape, and I use one of these dongles in order to take the video and audio off of it, and then I record it into OBS. But it's not the great tape, you know, this is an old thing. So when you're criticizing my tape, please realize what equipment I'm using in order to duplicate these old videos over to YouTube. Thank you.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Good. How you doing today?
Fine, thanks. Listen, I've been going to various stores looking at computers, and I've seen something that's really interesting called the Atari ST.
hmm
I want to know more about it, and I knew you were just the guy to tell me. So I see you got one here. Why don't you tell me a little more about it?
Okay. I'm glad you stopped in today. And first, I'm going to go over a little bit about the machine itself. Okay. And what we have here is a 68,000 base computer. Okay, running at 8 megahertz, and it's a 520 ST with a megabyte of RAM. Okay. Off to the side here, I have a SH204 hard drive hooked up and a color monitor. What we have on the screen now is the GEM Graphics Environment Manager operating system. And that happens to be built into the computer, okay, on chips. So what we have to do is just turn on the computer and we basically get the screen up.
All right, well, now wait a minute. You said a lot there, and I just want to make sure I understand. This computer does not necessarily need a disk drive in order to have its DOS, its DOS brought up. Is that right?
That's correct. It happens to be probably the only computer that I know of that has the operating system, a graphic operating system, built inside of it onto the chips. So you don't have to load any disks to get up your disk operating system.
Well, that must mean that when you turn it on, things happen a lot more quickly.
Absolutely. I mean, you can get up your screen and be ready to work in a matter of 5 seconds.
Huh. Now, I usually see a lot of words on the screen, and you have to type in a lot of words, but this looks a lot different. There's only one or two other computers I've ever seen that looks something like this. Can you just sort of show me what's happening on the screen?
Sure. Most of the tasks that are required in most other personal computers are keyboard orientated. What we have here on the screen are pictures. In computer lingo, if you would, they're called icons. Okay. Some of the icons we have that we use most of the time are these icons of the floppy disks. Okay. If you notice, they look like little filing cabinets because exactly what's going on with computer storage, you would store information on a disk just like you would on a filing cabinet. Okay. Down in the left-hand corner of the screen, we have a picture of a wastebasket. That's where we can get rid of information that we have on a disk from the filing cabinet. We basically pull the stuff and throw it out into the wastebasket.
Huh. Now, you're not using the keyboard, and I don't even know how to type that well. Do I have to have a lot of dexterity in order to use that thing that you're pushing around?
No, not really. At first, using a mouse may feel a little awkward as opposed to using a keyboard. But once you get used to it, and once you master the flow of the mouse pointer, it really is quite natural.
Huh. Do you think it would take me a long time to learn that mouse and this computer?
Not really. One of the nicest things about this type of computer system is the use of the mouse with the drop-down menus, with the pictures. You don't really have to know too much about computer terminology. You don't have to remember redundant commands. Basically, what you have to do operating the computer is just pointing and clicking the mouse button.
Huh. Well, can you show me a couple of things that I can do just using that mouse?
Well, for instance, let's say, for an example, we want to look on the computer on the disk drive C. Okay? what we're going to do is we're going to open up that filing cabinet. There are two ways to open up the filing cabinet. One way is just to put the mouse pointer on a little picture of the filing cabinet and hitting the mouse button. You notice it turns black, okay? It's become highlighted.
Yes.
Then what we do is we put the mouse pointer up to this menu up here that says File. And if you notice, this little drop-down menu, as they call it, pop down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tip of the mouse pointer and click on where it says Open. Now, if you notice what happened, we got another type of picture which popped out onto the screen. This is called a window.
Yes.
What this is showing me, it's a window of information, okay? And what it's showing me in this case is a listing of things that I have in my C filing cabinet. If you notice also, on these lines, we have the date and the time that the objects or the information was put onto the filing cabinet. So it's actually the time and date is recorded.
Okay.
Also, on the left-hand side here, we have these little symbols. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go up to the View menu. I'm going to click on Show as Icons, which we talked about before. And if I click on Show as Icons,
Oh, look at that.
it's a new type of listing. And if you notice, it looks like little folders.
File folders.
File folders, exactly. And it's, again, as if we were working with storing information inside a filing cabinet. You store related information inside a folder.
Well, what are those other symbols that don't look quite like a file folder?
Well, what you're probably referring to is these right here. One is called DBXCTTP, temp1, command com. What this symbol is right here, the square shaped with the grid on top, this is an actual program that we can run. Whether it be a game, a word processing program, a painting program. These symbols here look like folded pieces of paper.
That's right.
Actually information or data, if you would. For an example, if we had a word processor and we saved the document onto the disk, the document would be displayed as these folded pieces of paper.
And then if we had a drawing program, the picture would be saved
Exactly.
I see.
We give the picture a name, and if we looked inside this window on a particular disk where we saved the picture name would be underneath the folded pieces of paper.
Now this is the same as this catalog or a directory that I've seen in other computers?
Exactly. On other types of computers, to get a listing of what's on each particular disk, you would have to type in the word, maybe dir and hit the return key. On some other computers, it's up to as typing in a command like open, quotation mark, star, and things like that. Again, with this computer, all we have to do is put the pointer on a thing we want to open up and get a listing of. And the other way to do it is to double click the mouse button.
So I don't even have to go up to that top menu, do I?
That's a shortcut.
All right, now wait, what did you just do?
What I did was, we have ways to move and manipulate these windows. Okay?
Wow.
Which you just asked me what I just did. I changed the size of the window.
And how did you do that?
By taking the mouse pointer and going to the bottom left-hand corner of the window and holding down the mouse pointer and moving the mouse. If you notice, there's an outline, a ghost image, if you would. And if I release the button where the ghost image is, the screen redraws the window where that image was.
Wow, you mean I can make this virtually any size?
You can make it any size. The top right-hand corner of the window, if we click up there, it makes the window fill up the full size of the screen. Just like that.
Oh, and if I wanted to go back to the same size it used to be?
Top right-hand corner again, click the window, same size it used to be.
Well, now, and how did you just move that window around in that size? How did you do that?
This top bar here, this grid, put the mouse pointer, the tip of the mouse pointer now, anywhere in that grid, and hold down the mouse button. We can move the actual position of the window.
Oh, I see. Now, I'm a little worried, though. I can't see everything in that window now. What do I do?
That's a good question, okay? Because if we notice, again, around the window, we have these different pictures, or icons again. And for example, on the bottom here, you have an arrow pointing to the right, and on the other side, an arrow pointing to the left. In between, you see a grid. And if we put the arrow, the mouse pointer on the arrow pointing to the right and hit the button, you see the grid changing. What's happening is the information that was displayed, the directory of the disk, is being scrolled from right to left inside the window. So if we were working in a tight space, which we'll go into later, it's very easy to
Oh, and
change
now you're
around.
going down.
I'm going down and I'm going up. There's a way to go all the way down. Put the mouse pointer on the right here in the white area and pull the outline again all the way down. And now actually we're in the bottom right-hand corner of the display.
Huh. Well, if I want to find a particular file, is it easy for me to put more than one disk up on the screen?
Yes. If you notice here, we have up in this window, it says C. That's the directory of the C filing cabinet. If I want to, I can open up D. I'm going to put the pointer on the D filing cabinet. And again, double click the mouse button. Another little window popped up.
Wow, look at that.
And I can position my windows. The real need to manipulate the window sizes is if, for instance, I wanted to take an item of information and move it, transfer it from the C filing cabinet to the D filing cabinet.
Okay.
It's as easy as, for instance, if I wanted to take, let's look for a particular item. Here it is, Command Com right here. If I wanted to move that onto my other floppy disk or filing cabinet, it's as easy as putting the pointer on the picture of it,
Yes.
holding down the mouse button. Again, it turned black, it highlighted. And just dragging, if we notice again, this little shadow image, ghost image, I drag it over to the other window, D in this case, and
Yes.
release the button.
Oh, now what's this?
This is called an alert box, okay? And it's alerting me to the fact that I'm going to copy an item. Folders to copy, we're not copying a folder, so it's 0. Items to copy is 1. So I can cancel that command by putting the mouse pointer in the cancel box, or I can go ahead with it by putting the mouse pointer in the OK box and hitting the button, which I just did.
It's just that easy to copy?
Exactly.
But you didn't type anything.
You don't have to type anything.
Well,
I just did it. It's done. If I go now and look on the D window, what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the D window by putting the pointer and hitting the button. I'm going to make
I
it
see.
the full size of the screen. Okay. And if we look here near the bottom, right here, we see the Command Com in D. So I just transferred the file called Command.Com from C to D.
Wow. Well, now, that's really interesting. I want to ask you a little more about that top menu line that's up there that says Desk and File and View. Can you show me a little about that?
Okay. First, we'll start at Desk. What Desk stands for is a desk accessory. And if we put the pointer up there, we notice another little drop-down menu. And a nice desk accessory that I have installed in this machine is called a desk card. What it is a series of programs. Let's click on desk card and see what happens. If we notice, we have a listing of things from a calendar to a memory test. You get an idea of how this works. If I click on calendar and hit the button, again, a window popped out onto the screen, and we have September 1987. Sunday, the 20th is highlighted.
Huh.
Okay? And if this happens to be an appointment calendar, I don't want to get too heavy into it, but if I had appointments for today, I could click on the little 20 with the mouse button. And my appointment book would come up, and I could set alarms and do things like that.
And you can put information in there?
I could put information in there. It would be stored onto the disk.
Now, you haven't used the keyboard yet, have you?
No, I didn't. Not yet.
And that calendar window is exactly the same as a window that had a directory in it?
Exactly the same. If I wanted to change the position of it, again, I go to the top grid up here. That's where we see desk card calendar. And I hold down the mouse button. And just drag. This is called dragging, by the way. Just dragging the outline to anywhere on the screen where I want.
Huh.
To close it up is the top left-hand corner. Just
Okay.
closes it up.
Well, show me a little more about that top menu.
Okay. Before we move on, I'm going to go back up to desk. I'm going to click on this thing called the control panel. What that's meant to do is to give us basically control over our screen. By the way, I don't think I mentioned it yet, but in the ST world, this screen is called the desktop. And the reason it's called the desktop is because it's tried to be organized just like we would organize a desk. One of the things that we can change right off the top is the screen color, the background. Here it looks like an orange red color. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the mouse pointer on this box down here. That's the same color as the background.
Okay.
I hit the button. If you notice, it turned a little larger. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to this area here where there's a letter R. And right underneath it, it says there's a number 7. What I'm doing is going to hold down the mouse pointer and again drag this box down the screen a little bit.
It's like a slide switch.
Just like a slide switch. If you notice what's happening, the number is decreasing. And as it decreases, near the bottom where we have RGB, which stands for red, green, and blue, we have all zeros.
Huh.
0 red, 0 green, 0 blue, it's black.
Now, let me guess. If I want it to become blue, I'll take that slide switch by the blue and move it up.
Good guess.
Ah, look at that.
That's a blue screen. And by playing around with all these different combinations,
Now, wait, what did you just do there? You're hitting the B and it's going up a little at a time?
what I did was, if we hit the B, we can increment
That's
one count at a time.
That's like the arrows on the windows.
Exactly. And by playing around with the 8 different shades of red, green, and blue, we have a palette of 512 colors on the computer.
Huh. Well, what are these other things on the control panel?
At the top here, where the arrow pointer is, we have what we call the keyboard response. Well, it's not really a keyboard response. If we hold down a key, it repeats, okay? If I move the pointer towards the left and drag the little waveform icon, the delay between the repeat is faster. If I move it towards the right, the delay between the keyboard repeat is slower. Underneath it, we have a little picture, I don't know if you can see, but it's a little picture of a rabbit on the left, and on the right, it's a little picture of a turtle. If I, again, make this slide towards the turtle, and I hold down the key, you can hear the keyboard click. It's very slow. If I move it towards the rabbit, it's very fast. Now, you might say, well, big deal, because we haven't been using the keyboard. But when later on we go into the word processor and stuff, we can set the keyboard settings.
So you're saying that I can make the keyboard feel the way I'd like it to feel?
Yes. And when we go into like a word processor where we do have to type, the keyboard settings will be remembered from what we're doing now.
Okay. Well, what else is there on that control panel?
Right underneath the keyboard settings, we have, again, a little picture of a mouse on each side. This is the mouse response rate, okay? In other words, before we did the double click, if I put this black highlightation on the 4, okay, we have to double click really fast. For somebody who's new at using a computer, you would set it down towards the lower end of the scale, so you wouldn't have to click as fast for the keyboard mouse pointer to become activated.
Huh.
Underneath that, we have this, looks like a key, there's a C on it. We can shut off the keyboard click. I'm holding down the keyboard now.
And there is no
And
click?
there's no click. I turn it back on,
I
you
see.
hear a click.
So if that click gets annoying, it's gone.
You can shut it off, yes.
Huh. And what's that little bell?
Next to the little keyboard picture, we have the bell, which if we make a mistake in this gem desktop environment, sometimes we hear an annoying bell. We can shut off that bell
I see.
by clicking that area.
And up top, we can set the date and time,
We
I
can set
see.
the date and time to anything we want. Again, I put the mouse pointer in the top area, and I can hit the backspace key to get rid of the old date, or I can hit the escape key to wipe it clean. And if I want to set the date for October 2nd, I just type in 100287 and hit the return key, and I'll set for October 2nd. And the same thing with the time.
And now you finally use the keyboard.
Finally.
Now, if I shut the machine off, all this disappears, I suppose.
It disappears from the computer's memory, but there's a way to save these settings so we don't have to do them every time.
Is that right?
Yes.
How do you do that?
We go up to the options menu, and right here, if you notice, says save the desktop.
Save the desktop. Now, what does that say? That saves the control panel.
It saves the control panel.
Anything else?
In this particular case, it would save the background color of the blue. It would also save the position of the two windows that I have up on the screen.
Is that right?
So in other words, if I save the desktop now, next time I turn the computer on, if I had that disk in the disk drive, these two windows would come up in the exact same position.
Automatically.
So you don't have to do it every time you use the computer.
Huh. Will it save all those file cabinets and all as well?
They'll be saved in the exact same position they're saved in now.
Wow. How about that?
Okay, what I'm going to do, we're going to continue along the menus. I'm going to go up to File. Now, if you notice, I went up to File, and nothing is active, really. It's all like a ghost, shadowy type of image. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a window again. I'm going to go back up to File. If you notice here, we have this thing called New Folder. If I wanted to start creating a folder on the disk drive where I was going to put related information, I just click on New Folder. And again, an alert box comes up, a box comes up. It says New Folder Name. If I was going to create a folder, and inside the folder I intended to put documents from a term paper.
Yes.
I would give the folder a name by typing in the name. I'll call it Term Papers. And then I would just click on OK. Now what it's doing now, it would store on the disk an empty folder by the name of Term Papers. What I'm going to do is, so we can see it a little better, I'm going to go up to the View menu and say Show as Text.
Okay.
Click on Show as Text.
Oh, now this is the same as what we were looking at. Oh, that's right. You showed me that earlier.
The same thing as what we're looking at. Just some people prefer to look at it this way. It's a little bit easier on the eyes to look at the names. And if we look down here, I'm scrolling
There it is,
through.
Term Papers.
This Term Papers set on October 2nd.
That's the date you just set.
And the time. Okay. Now let's go inside the folder.
Okay.
Can you guess how we would do that?
I bet you click the mouse.
Exactly. You click it not once, but twice.
The same as you do to open up the file cabinet to begin with.
Yes.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
One of the beauties of this whole system is with this GEM environment, with this graphic environment, whether we go from the desktop area to a program or to do just normal everyday tasks, the look and feel of what we're doing is the same. Okay, we don't have to learn different types of commands. We don't have to see different types of screens to do the same tasks over and over again.
Huh.
So let's open up Term Papers. I'm going to put the pointer on the line called Term Papers and double click the mouse button. If you notice that the screen went blank, the window, we still have a window, but it's an empty window. And at the top, we have 0 bytes used in 0 items.
Yes.
Telling us there's nothing in there. And at the top of that, we have the C.
That's that C file cabinet.
Exactly. And a backslash and the two word Term Papers.
We're inside the Term Papers folder.
That's what it's telling us.
I see. Now I understand.
Okay.
Now, Chris, I noticed before this. Yes. Now look at your listing there. It's in alphabetical order.
Yes. We can, when we're displaying information in a window, our files, our directories, whatever you want to call them, we can sort or we can view them in different ways. Sort by name, alphabetical order.
Okay.
We can sort by the date.
And they're all in date order.
By the latest to the earliest date.
Huh.
I can sort by the size. So in other words,
What is the size?
what the size is, it takes the largest pieces of information and puts that at the top of the window. So in other words, if I was looking for a program on a disk directory,
yes,
inside of my file cabinet,
yes,
and I had hundreds of items on the file cabinet, and I knew the program was the largest size
okay,
on the file cabinet, I would just say sort by size, and it would come right at the top of the window. So it's a very fast way of getting that information that we want to get to.
I see. And you had one more option there, and that was sort
by type. Let me explain a little bit about type. Remember before we talked about folders, we talked about programs, and we talked about files, files containing data or pictures or documents or whatever. If we sort by type, what the machine does is it sorts the information on a disk by the type of file that it is. In other words, here at the top we have files ending in first. Okay, they happen to be data files, and then it sorts it by AC, ACC.
So those last three letters or numbers are all in order now.
Yes, and what they're telling us, the last three letters are telling us what type of file.
Well, there's the PRG file. Those are program files. You told me that.
Yes.
And so those are all together. So you got all your program files where you can find them. Well, that's really interesting. Chris, could you go back up to the options menu and the set preferences? Could you just tell me quickly what that's about?
Set preferences lets us do things like, well, if we see at the top, it says confirm deletes and confirm copies. If you remember before, when we made the copy of that command file from the C filing cabinet to the D filing cabinet, a box popped up and was telling us what we were copying. We were copying an item. If I shut off the confirm copy, if I put it on no, that box would never appear. As soon as I dragged the item from the one area to the other, it would automatically do it without asking me.
Well, that would speed things up.
Yes. But sometimes it's good to have these things set on yes, because if you're going to make a mistake, you have a chance to back out of your command.
Well, what's this screen resolution?
That's a good question, by the way, because the Atari ST computer operates in 3 graphic screen modes. Right now, we're in medium resolution. Okay. What does resolution mean? Resolution means exactly what we see on a screen is a series of dots, just like on a television. And medium screen resolution on the ST happens to be 640 dots across from left to right and 200 lines of dots up and down. The low resolution on the ST is 320 dots across the screen and 200 lines of dots up and down. Why would somebody use low resolution? Well, the low resolution is a coarser resolution. The dots are larger. Okay, but in a low resolution on the machine, we can portray more colors on a screen at one time. On a medium resolution, we portray 4 colors on the screen. On a low resolution, we portray 16 colors on the screen at one time. The other resolution is the high. If we notice, it really doesn't become activated at all on a color monitor because that's reserved for the black and white monitor. That happens to be 640 pixels across by 400 lines of dots up and down. So that's the highest resolution the ST runs it. That'll be recommended for things like word processing or desktop publishing and things like that because it's like fine, crisp, clear display. But for most people, the color screen is the nicest to work with because it's nice to work with colors.
Okay, now once I set all this up, I can save this as well as part of saving the desktop?
You can save the current screen resolution. In other words, if I went to low screen resolution, everything would look larger. And if I went up to the options menu and save the desktop, next time I turn on the computer with that disk in the drive, by the way, it would come up with the low screen resolution where everything would be larger.
I see. Well, you've showed me quite a lot here, and I'm sure there's even more. But one thing that hasn't happened yet, you haven't run a program. Can you show me how to run a program?
Sure. What I'm going to do again is I'm going to put the little pointer on the icon of the C filing cabinet and double click the mouse button. Again, my little window appears. And I'm going to scroll the window down because I'm looking for a folder called WW.
Okay, and you're going to go into that folder.
By putting the pointer on that line that says WW and again double clicking the mouse button. Now we're in the C drive. Inside the WW folder. WW stands for Word Writer, okay? And the reason I'm choosing Word Writer to start off with here, showing the program, is because it's a word processor. And probably the #1 use of a personal computer nowadays is for word processing.
Okay.
Again, I'm going to go up to the View menu. I'm going to say Sort by Size.
By size.
Because it's the largest thing, or one of the largest things on that.
Is W Writer PRG.
Exactly. And I found
152549.
That's the size of it. Okay, and it came up in a half a second rather than me going to look through the window for it.
I see.
Now I'm going to run the program. Running the program is the same procedure as opening up a filing cabinet or opening up a folder. I'm going to put the pointer on that line that says WWPRG, and again, double click the mouse button.
And there's a little B there on the screen.
I'm glad you caught that. That's what we call the busy bee. It means the machine is thinking.
Aha.
And voila.
And now you have some kind of directory up on the screen again.
Well, it's a good observation by you, by the way. What's popped up on the screen initially here is this item selector box. And underneath it, it says a directory. And it's telling me again, C drive, WW folder, a star, which is like we call a wild card. It will match anything that ends with DOC.
I see.
DOC stands for document.
Okay.
My documents or letters or whatever you want to call them, when I save them on the disk, when I type in the name, I type in the period DOC so I know it's a document, so I don't get confused.
I see. Now what's happening now?
Well, again, we have an arrow pointing upwards and downwards.
It's just like the Windows.
Just like the Windows.
And the control panel.
And the control panel. I'm scrolling up and down. And if, let's say, for example, I wanted to load in a previously saved document. That's called sample. There's two ways to load it in. One way is I could type in, on the keyboard.
Well, I see. That's a slower way,
Sample.
I bet you can use the mouse.
How'd you know?
Well, it figures by this point.
Put the pointer on the line sample, and while on this selection, we have sample document.
Put it right up there.
I'm going to say, click on OK.
And it's loaded in.
What does this look like on the screen to you now? Have you seen this before?
It's like a piece of paper.
Oh, actually, it's a window.
Look at that. It is a window.
Again, what happens in the system is when we use the different programs, this windowing, menuing type of environment is very much similar. So it's easy to go from one program or one part of the system to the other.
So even though I'm in a program, I'm really somehow still on the desktop.
We are. We're in the gem environment with the windows, and over here on the left,
It says desk, just like it did before.
And I click on my desk card, and I could be in the middle of typing a paper, and if I wanted to find out, oops, maybe I missed an appointment, I can go back to my calendar.
And the calendar's available to you while you're in the program?
While I'm in the program.
Well, that's amazing.
Appointments.
That's really amazing. Well, now you must have to use the keyboard to do some of the word processing.
Unfortunately, we do have to type sometimes. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to open up a new file. Again, I'm going to go up to the menu that says File. I'm going to say Open.
Open.
I'm going to start something new. I'll call it Atari. Period. DOC.
Okay.
And then I'm going to say OK.
Uh-huh.
You know,
editing a new file, is this correct? It's talking to you.
What it's saying is, it's asking me a question. This is something new. Am I sure I want to do it? I'll say OK. And again, I have two windows active on the screen.
Just like you had the two directory windows before.
Exactly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to position the screen so I can work.
Well, wait, it disappeared.
Well, what I did was I put the pointer.
There.
It's behind it.
I see.
Wherever you put the pointer, you can make the document active. In other words, right now, sample document is active.
I see.
I'm going to put the mouse pointer somewhere in this window of the sample document and hit the button. See this black rectangular shape?
Sure.
Okay, that's called a cursor. As I type, I'm not much of a typist, but you don't have to be with these systems. As I type, the words or the letters appear from where the cursor is. If I make a mistake, I can correct it very easily. For example, now is the time. I want the time. I'm going to put the pointer on the end and hit the button. My cursor jumped onto top of the end. Now I can hit the delete key on the keyboard and deleted the N, and I could type in the M.
Well, now, what if I wanted to copy some words from one window into another? Is that similar to what you did with the file?
That is similar. One of the nice things about this windowing environment is it's very easy to transfer information from one physical or logical section to another on a computer. For instance, if I was starting up my new document before, and it's called Atari, and I could use some text from this document called sample, it's very easy for me to transfer text from one window or from one document to another. So if I was in college and I was doing term papers, and I was doing many related term papers, it would be very easy to put together new term papers from my old ones.
I see.
And what I'll do now is I'm going to take these two paragraphs here, starting with welcome and ending with use.
And where are you going to put them?
I'm going to put them into the document that I called Atari.
I see.
Okay, I'm putting the pointer at the beginning, holding down the button on the mouse, a little hand appears. I don't know if you can see it. There's a little hand there. I'm stretching the outline over the two paragraphs.
And it's highlighted now.
Turn green. Okay, I'm going to go up to another menu up here called block. And the reason it's called block is because we just marked off a block of text.
Oh,
Whether
sure.
it be a paragraph, a page, or a line. It's called a block. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the mouse pointer on the line where it says cut.
Chris, before you do that, does that F8 mean if I press one of those function keys like the F8 that it would work?
Yes. One of the nice features of this particular program and many programs on the ST is if somebody didn't like to use the mouse, not everybody feels comfortable with it. Some people are just pure typists. We can keep our hands on the keyboard to do many of the same tasks. So in other words, if I wanted to cut this block of text for future use, I can just hit the F8 key.
And it says the block has been saved in the buffer.
Ready for a paste. I don't know if you ever heard of the term cut and paste, but that's what we're going to do now.
You're going to paste it in the Atari document.
Yes.
I see.
I'm going to close up the window slightly so I can get at behind it where the Atari document is.
Yes.
Put the pointer on the window in the background and hit the button. The sample document went to the background now, and the Atari document's in the foreground. If you notice, it's in a window, and the window is blank. So let's say now I want to take those two paragraphs and I want to put them into this new document 2 lines down. I'm going to hit the return, just like on a typewriter, a carriage return. Once, twice, I move my cursor 2 lines down. And I'm going to go up to my block menu, and I'm going to click on paste. Again, I can hit, if you notice, next to paste is an F8. I can hit the F8 key again.
I see.
And just paste it.
And it's right.
I'm going to scroll up a little bit.
I see. It's all there.
And there it is.
Huh. Now, I see down towards the bottom of the screen. Could you just move the window smaller? Thank you. At the bottom of the screen, it says F8 cut and paste as well. What are all these little boxes down here?
These boxes are like a handy reference guide right on the screen. What happens in a lot of programs is that manuals may be hundreds of pages. So what we have here, what's nice about this, is we have many of the commands on screen right now. So if I forget a command, for example, I want to underline text.
Yes.
Okay. Down here, if we look right here on this little box, we see abbreviation for underline. I click on that little box and watch this ABC in the top left-hand corner of the window. It becomes underlined. And when I type,
now it's all underlined.
it's underlined.
It shows you underlined on the screen.
What you see is what you get. They call it WYSIWYG nowadays. Okay. If I wanted to get rid of the underline, I just put the pointer on a little box and hit the button again. It's gone. And I'll type. It's not underlined. If I want to make something bold-faced, okay, I can click on the little box that says boldface, or again, what you asked me, we have a keyboard command, alternate and B stands for boldface, and we can have boldface type.
Isn't that something? And there's much more to this program.
Sure, we can center text, we can change margins around, we can manipulate the text, all by just basically pointing and clicking. All the commands are on screen. It's very easy to use.
Well, that's really something. Now, some of these computers do things with graphics. Does this computer do the same?
I'm glad you asked me that, because one of the nicest things that it does is graphics. And if you just give me a minute here, we'll set up the graphics, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, we're back. And if you notice what we have on the screen now, we have colors on the screen. What I just did was I loaded up a program called Neochrome, which is a painting, drawing type of program. Again, we're using the mouse. We have symbols, icons, pictures, whatever you want to call them. And by using the mouse, we can create works of art.
This doesn't really have a window, though.
This particular program does not have a window, but it's still working under the point-and-click gem environment. And when we load a picture in a minute, I'll explain to you how it's still on the gem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pointer in the little picture that's called a paintbrush. And you notice on the right, it says brushes. Here's brush strokes. And by pointing and clicking, we can pick a certain brush stroke. I'm going to pick the color blue, again, by putting the pointer on a blue square right there. And go up here, holding down the mouse button. I'm drawing with that particular brush stroke. Not much of an artist, but the beauty of programs like this is if you make a mistake, you can take your eraser
Huh. Look at
and
that.
change what you did. Can make basically anybody an artist.
And I can pick from any of those colors on the
You
screen?
can pick from any of the colors on this bar here. That's our current color palette. Here's a yellow. I want to pick a spray can, pick a certain nozzle, and I can make special effects and do things like this. We have a pencil mode, which is actually the drawer. Pick another color. A little pencil appears on the screen. If I hold down the button, I don't know if you're noticing that, down here in this little box or window,
I was just about to ask you.
okay, is a magnification of what's going on the top of the screen. And if you remember, I mentioned before, what we see on the screen is dots, and we have the blow up of the dots that I'm drawing. So if we want to do a fine precision work, I close up this little thing that I made, this doodling. I just close it up right there.
Huh.
Right on. Pick a paint can. I can fill areas.
Whoa, look at that.
I'm just, again, pointing and clicking. Okay. What we're doing is working on the top of the screen right now. We can work on the full screen at one time.
I'm sorry, Chris. What's that undo off to the right?
Undo is if, let's say, I picked something here to draw with, and I drew, and I made a mistake, and I said, oops, I didn't want to do that. If I click on undo, it gets rid of the last thing we did.
And you can just do it over.
You just do it over. Or you can bring it back.
Huh. You can undo the undo.
Exactly. Okay. What we see here now, at this bottom, again, this little box window, whatever you want to call it, we have our full color palette that's available in the Atari ST. 512 colors. If I wanted to change a color, let's say I picked this blue before, and I wanted to change the blue to, I don't know, you pick a color.
Oh, a red.
Okay, if I want to pick a red, I go and look here for a red, hit the button. If you notice right here, here's a red shade that I picked down here from the palette, and if I put the pointer on the red and double click the mouse button,
Everything that was blue just turned red.
exactly, yes, it did.
Huh.
We can put text on the screen. I just click the T for text, and as I'm typing, text comes up on the screen. We've got different sizes. Again, I'm just
You
pointing
could just
and clicking.
change it all just that easy.
Type styles, sizes, just by pointing and clicking. You don't really even need an instruction manual for a program like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to load in a picture. Okay? I'm going to put the pointer on the little picture of the floppy disk down the left-hand corner of the screen
Yes, I see it.
and hit the right button on the mouse.
Item selector. We just saw this
When
when we were in the word processor.
and we wanted to
Load in a document.
In this case, we're going to load in a picture. So again, remember before I said the look and feel is the same, even though we're in a painting program, a totally different program, we still get the same types of things happening on the screen. I'm going to look for my famous picture of our rose here that I can't take credit for drawing. I'm going to click on rose and say, okay. This question mark box came up. Do I want to save what I did before proceeding? Well, I don't want to save that. I was just
Doodling.
playing around, doodling around. I'm going to say no.
Oh, look at this. Well, but wait, you can't see anything up after a certain point.
Well, that's because the menu, tools are being shown in the bottom corner of the screen. If I wanted to work on the bottom half of the picture, there's two ways to do that. You can click on this little hand over here, which is called the grabber. Okay, push the pointer up on the drawing area, and it turns into a hand. I'm going to hold down the mouse pointer and push the mouse up.
Oh, look at that.
And what's happened is we're going to the bottom of our drawing.
I see.
If I wanted to work on the full screen all at one time, and I wanted to work with a pencil and green, first I pick pencil, then I pick a green color, then I can go to my full screen, and I can actually draw on the full screen if I want.
How about that? Look at that.
To get back to my menu, I hit the escape key on the keyboard. It escapes us back to our menu. So many other neat things we could do with this. I figured I'd show you this because this is really neat. Pick this thing over here, which is called the jackknife. I'm going to cut off a piece of the rose.
Okay.
Again, I'm just holding the mouse button. I'm drawing around. Can you see how this flashing line around the piece that I just drew?
I sure do.
I can take that and move it somewhere else.
Whoa, look at that.
Okay. Now it's in front of the screen. I can make it go behind the screen if I want. See it?
Oh,
Behind it.
I don't believe it.
And I can even paint with it if I wanted to. holding down the right button on the mouse, and I'm painting with that.
And that piece of rose becomes a paintbrush.
Exactly.
That's incredible. Wow, this is really something. I've never quite seen anything like it in a home computer. Chris, I understand that this computer will also do something with music. Is that right?
Yes, one of the nice things about the ST, one of the reasons it's catching on in the music industry, is that it has built into it MIDI ports, which is a standard interface to musical instruments such as synthesizers and drum machines and things like that. And we're going to go into the music portion right now. My colleague Lou is going to come in. He's the resident MIDI expert, and he'll take over from here. Thank you. And we're back, and Lou Turner has joined us. In the meantime, we've set up some MIDI musical synthesizers, and we've loaded up a program into the computer called MIDIsoft Studio. Lou has joined us, and he's going to explain a little bit about the program.
Well, this is MIDIsoft Studio, and it comes with an extensive manual explaining how it operates. But basically, it's like a tape recorder in the sense that there's a pause, stop, rewind, fast forward, play, and record. There's 32 tracks that can be recorded with. By scrolling down, we can see them all and access them at any time. Okay, and if we move to track number 2, and we could just play it by going down to the play button. And this is something that our video director, Jeff Hopkins, just recorded a few moments ago. And we can switch the channel by clicking on it, hitting maybe channel 7, and return. We got a slightly different sound there. And you could hit stop and it's set up for automatic rewind right now. Hit channel 1 and play, and there we go. We've got a bass line. Now very quickly I want to show you that you can record in real time here. So just hit stop. Go to, let's go to track 5, let's say, and hit clean and make it record. Okay, and then just go and hit the record button. We're ready to record. Oh, we got to stop. Track 3, okay. And change that to channel 6 for that record channel there. No, channel 6 though, right over here. Just click on it once and hit 6. Okay, because that's the Casio synthesizer that we're going to be recording in over here. And very quickly, I'll just play something. Okay, just hit stop and let's hear how that sounds.
That's what you just played in.
That's right.
So it is like a tape recorder.
It's even better than a tape recorder because there's all kinds of editing features. If we just pop down the edit menu over there, we can see we can erase a track, copy a track, move a track, combine tracks, insert, delete, paste, erase, transpose to a different pitch, time correct, and step record. Why don't we hit step record and take a look at the step record screen? Okay, and if we look over at the step record screen, we can click on that whole note. It'll change to a half. Click on it again. It'll change to a quarter. Click on it again. An eighth. Sixth. Click on it again. A 16th. Click again. And all the way down the line. We can have dotted, thirds. It's a great program to work with. And I think we'll just hit exit, go back to the track mode there, and we better get moving on to the next subject. What do you say?
Sounds great. And we're back with some more great sounds. What we've done is we've loaded up Dr. T's KCS program. And Lou, why don't you take it from here?
Okay, well, this is similar to the MIDIsoft Studio in the sense that we have a multi-track recording studio here that we can play it by hitting play. And we have a number of tracks recorded this time, so you can hear channel 7, channel 1, channel 8, channel 6, channel 2. Okay? Okay, why don't we hit stop and we'll exit down here. Okay, and let's see, why don't we go to the song mode, and we've we have a couple of segments ready to go here, playing 2 songs at once. Why don't you go over to the play, okay, and hit the number 1 key right here. Okay, so we have one song playing right now. It's playing several different MIDI instruments at one time, and it's designed so that it'll switch to the next song as soon as it's finished one revolution of this song. We see repetition 1. It means it'll play this song once, then it'll switch to the next song. It's coming up very shortly. Here we go.
So we just chain 2 songs to play from one right to the other. How many songs can you get?
Oh, I haven't gotten that far with it to see how many songs. It's just amazing. This program's great. There's so many. So you go ahead, hit. There we go. There's an open mode. There's all kinds of editing features in this program. It's just limitless with what this program can do. I just can't begin to explain all the features in a few minutes. But before we slip away, I'd just like to show you that we can take a file from Dr. T's and dump it into the Dr. T's copyist program and print out a beautiful score. And we can see we've got a bass line and drums track, and it's just great what you can do with Dr. T's copyist. And the screen looks similar to this on the screen. You can add words, and it's just a great program to work with for doing a whole bunch in music. And that's about it for MIDI software right now. We gotta rush away, I guess.
Okay, now you've seen how the ST can make you a musician. Before we showed you how it can make you an artist. And now we're going to come back in a little while and show you some other things.
Well, what do you have to show me now?
Well, before you saw us playing some music, and we were painting pictures, and we wrote a letter. Now we're going to fly a plane. This is Flight Simulator 2 on the ST. We're in the jet mode right now. We're going to try to take off. I just increased the throttle. Getting up to some speed. Let's pull back on the stick, on the mouse actually. And we just got off the runway. We're outside of San Francisco right now. And I'm going to go to the view menu, click on the spot plane. There we are on the spot plane. And now we're going back to the cockpit mode. And hitting some turbulence, I guess. Feels like it. I'll try to land this baby. Whoops. Well, that was a crash course in flying. I'll be right back.
Well, do you have anything a little more safe?
Well, check this out. Want to play some chess? We're gonna get.
Want to play a game?
Sure. He's gonna make his move here soon. There he goes.
Your move.
Let's bring a horse out.
Your move. Illegal move.
Whoops.
Well, Chris, I don't think we have time for a full chess game. Can you show me something else?
How about something with a little bit more action? Want to kill some monsters? Whoops. This is a game called Barbarian, by the way. And if you like flying a plane or playing chess, maybe you like this. Ugh.
Chris, I'm really impressed. I guess you could turn your ST into just about anything.
You can turn it just about anything, including an IBM PC. Want to see that?
Show it to me. Well, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Are you?
Yes. Show me an IBM running on an ST.
Well, you're looking at it. What I just did was I booted up a program called PC Ditto, which is a software package that loads up into the Atari ST and prompts us for the command to put in the IBM Personal System DOS, which I've already done. And if you notice right now on the screen, it doesn't look like an ST screen. It looks like
An IBM screen. But this has got to be some kind of trick. You can't do a directory or something, can you?
sure can. If I type in dir, go wide directory, IBM commands.
And there it is.
And even though we don't have time to show all the programs this thing runs, it runs most of the popular business applications.
So if a certain program isn't available in the ST, you might be able to run it if they have it for IBM.
Stands a good chance if you're using one of the popular PC programs in the office, you can bring it home and run it on your Atari.
That's amazing.
It's the Amazing Atari ST.